Have you ever felt that people around you do not believe in your ability? Have you ever shared a dream and noticed doubt in someone's eyes instead of support? Throughout life, there will always be people who underestimate you, question your choices, and tell you what you cannot achieve. Some will criticize your goals, some will laugh at your ambition, and some may even expect you to fail. But the truth is, you will never be able to control every opinion around you. What you can control is which voices you allow to influence your future. The strongest answer to doubt is not an argument, it is a result. Your future is not decided by what others say about you. It is shaped by the decisions you make, the habits you build, and the discipline you maintain when nobody is watching. Many people spend years trying to explain themselves, defending their dreams, and convincing others that they are capable. But successful people understand that results always speak louder than words, and a life built with consistency will always become its own proof. Success is not created by luck or some mysterious force that only a few people understand. It follows a pattern built on hard work, patience, and discipline. Think about a seed planted deep beneath the soil. At first, nobody sees anything happening. There is no applause, no recognition, and no evidence of growth from the outside. Some people may even assume nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, the seed is developing roots, preparing itself for the moment when it can finally rise. Your life often works the same way. There are seasons when your progress is invisible, when your efforts seem unnoticed, and when people around you do not understand the work you are doing. But those quiet seasons are not wasted. They are the moments when your character is being built, your skills are improving, and your foundation is becoming stronger. Not every stage of growth is meant to be seen by others. Some stages exist only to prepare you for the success that will eventually become impossible to ignore. So when people fail to recognize your progress, do not allow their lack of understanding to weaken your commitment. Keep learning, keep improving, and keep moving forward. Many of the greatest victories in life are invisible before they become undeniable. What people eventually see is only the result, but they rarely see the discipline, sacrifices, and struggles that created it. Now ask yourself this question: what if every criticism you receive becomes a source of motivation? What if every rejection makes you more determined? What if every time someone says, "You cannot do it," you use those words as another reason to continue? This is the mindset of extraordinary people. They do not waste their energy trying to defeat every negative opinion. Instead, they use that energy to improve themselves, strengthen their abilities, and build something meaningful. Every early morning, every extra hour of practice, every difficult decision, and every moment of discipline takes you closer to the person you want to become. The people who succeed are not always the ones with the most talent. They are often the ones who continue working after others stop. They understand that progress is created through small actions repeated consistently over time. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying too hard to impress everyone. They seek approval, chase recognition, and measure their worth through the reactions of others. But your life was never meant to be controlled by the applause of people, because applause can disappear quickly. Opinions change, and the same people who praise you today may criticize you tomorrow. If your confidence depends entirely on other people's approval, it will never become stable. Real confidence comes from knowing that you are improving, keeping promises to yourself, and staying committed to your purpose even when nobody is paying attention. The most important person you need to impress is not the crowd around you. It is the person you see when you look at yourself. Many people spend their lives announcing their plans instead of building them. They talk about what they will do, explain their goals, and try to convince everyone that success is coming. But success does not require an announcement. It requires action. Quiet, consistent, daily action creates the results that eventually speak for themselves. A tree does not become strong because people notice it growing. Its greatest development happens underground before anyone sees its branches or fruit. The roots must become strong first. In the same way, before people recognize your achievements, you must build your discipline, your habits, and your character. The foundation always comes before the success that others can see. Progress is often quiet, and that is something many people struggle to understand. They expect growth to always look exciting, visible, and impressive, but real improvement usually happens in ordinary moments. It looks like reading one more page when you feel tired, making one more effort when things are difficult, practicing one more hour when nobody is watching, and choosing discipline when comfort feels easier. These small actions may not seem important in the moment, but repeated consistently, they create the foundation of extraordinary results. Many people focus more on appearing successful than actually becoming successful. They announce every goal, share every plan, and look for attention before they have created something valuable. But attention is not achievement. Talking about progress is not the same as making progress. A person can appear busy while moving nowhere, while another person can quietly work every day and completely transform their life without anyone noticing. The difference is that successful people are committed to growth, especially when there is no recognition. They understand that character is built privately. Discipline is developed privately. Confidence is created privately. The work nobody sees today becomes the success everyone notices tomorrow. The strongest people are not created by constant praise. They are created through the moments when they choose to continue even without encouragement. You do not need to constantly prove that you are working. You simply need to keep working. You do not need to repeatedly tell people that you are improving. You only need to continue improving. Eventually, your results will introduce you in a way that your words never could. The world may ignore your effort for a while, but genuine progress always leaves evidence behind. Think about how much time people waste trying to change other people's opinions. They spend hours explaining themselves, defending their choices, and seeking validation from people who may never understand their vision. But every moment spent chasing approval is a moment that could have been invested into personal growth. The better question is not, what do they think about me? The better question is, am I becoming better than I was yesterday? That is the question that truly matters. Every improvement you make builds a stronger future. Every disciplined choice increases your self-respect. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens your confidence. External approval can disappear at any moment, but the respect you develop for yourself through consistent action becomes something much more valuable. So stop trying to impress people who are not responsible for building your future. Stop seeking permission from those who cannot see your potential. Put your focus where it belongs, on your habits, your skills, your mindset, and your character. Let your actions become the evidence of your commitment. Let your progress become your answer. The greatest victory is not proving someone else wrong. The greatest victory is becoming the person you were always capable of becoming. When people doubt you, the natural reaction is often to defend yourself, explain your dreams, or argue against their opinions. But arguments rarely create lasting change because words can be questioned, promises can be forgotten, and explanations can be ignored. Results, however, are much harder to deny. Every criticism you receive gives you a choice. You can allow it to become a wall that stops you, or you can use it as a stepping stone that helps you rise higher. Some people become bitter because of criticism, but others become better because they use those experiences as fuel for improvement. The difference is not the criticism itself, the difference is how they respond to it. There will always be people who cannot see your potential. That does not mean your potential does not exist. Sometimes people cannot recognize what has not yet been revealed. A person looking at a seed cannot see the tree inside it, but that does not mean the tree is not possible. In the same way, others may not understand your future because they are only seeing your current situation. You do not need everyone to understand your journey. You only need to remain committed to it. Your future is not controlled by someone else's belief in you. It is controlled by your willingness to continue working, learning, and improving. The people who achieve great things are not those who never face doubt. They are those who refuse to allow doubt to become their identity. Consider a diamond. Before it becomes valuable and shines brightly, it must experience enormous pressure. Without that pressure, it remains hidden and ordinary. In the same way, challenges, setbacks, criticism, and difficult moments can reveal your strength and develop qualities that comfort could never create. Instead of asking why people doubt you, ask yourself what you can learn from every challenge. What if every rejection made you wiser? What if every obstacle helped you become stronger? What if every moment of doubt pushed you to work harder? Then nothing would be wasted because every experience would become part of your growth. Do not spend your life trying to control people's opinions. Spend your life improving your habits, strengthening your skills, and developing your character. When you become better, your life becomes better. That transformation is the strongest proof you can ever provide. Your true competition is not the person who criticized you. Your real competition is the person you were yesterday. Become wiser than yesterday, more disciplined than yesterday, and stronger than yesterday. Read another page, learn another lesson, and take another step forward because greatness is never created in one moment. It is built through daily decisions repeated over time. The greatest revenge is not making someone regret doubting you. The greatest victory is creating a life so meaningful that you no longer need anyone's approval. When you become focused on growth, criticism loses its power. When you become committed to your purpose, distractions become less important. One day, people who questioned you may notice your achievements. But by that time, their opinions will no longer control you because you did not build your life to impress them. You built it to fulfill your potential. Keep learning, keep improving, and keep becoming the best version of yourself. Not for applause, not for recognition, but because personal growth is one of the greatest accomplishments you can achieve. If you choose to create a meaningful life, you must understand one important truth. Doubt will always be part of the journey. It may come from strangers, friends, or even people close to you. The bigger your dream becomes, the more opinions you may encounter. When your vision is different from the ordinary path, some people will question it, not because you are incapable, but because they cannot imagine something they have never experienced themselves. Every person who has achieved something valuable has faced doubt at some point. Every leader, creator, and successful individual has heard someone say that their goal was unrealistic or impossible. The difference between those who succeed and those who stop is that successful people do not allow other people's doubts to become their own beliefs. They understand that someone else's opinion does not have the power to define their future unless they give it that power. People often question things they do not understand. This does not always happen because they have bad intentions. Sometimes people simply judge life through the limits of their own experiences. If someone has never taken a major risk, they may encourage you to stay comfortable. If someone has never chased a big dream, they may struggle to understand why you are willing to sacrifice so much. If someone has accepted an average life, they may question your desire to achieve something greater. The important thing is not to become angry at those people. Instead, become wiser. Understand that everyone sees the world through their own perspective. Someone who has never left their comfort zone may not understand the courage required to step into uncertainty. Their limitations do not have to become your limitations. Imagine a bird that has never flown. If that bird only listened to creatures that had never experienced the sky, it might believe flying was impossible. But the ability to fly was always within it. The same is true for your dreams. Sometimes the people giving you advice have never walked the road you are trying to travel. You can respect their opinions, but you should not allow their fears to decide your future. Doubt often reveals more about the person expressing it than the person receiving it. Many people project their own fears, disappointments, and past failures onto others. They say, "Do not try," because they stopped trying themselves. They say, "Be realistic," because they stopped believing in possibilities. They say, "It cannot be done," because they never discovered what could actually be achieved. Never confuse someone else's fear with your destiny. Your future should not be limited by the experiences of people who are unwilling to pursue their own potential. Listen carefully, learn when advice is valuable, but always remember that your journey belongs to you. Sometimes, if everyone agrees with your dream immediately, your dream may not be big enough. The greatest achievements in history often sounded impossible before they became reality. Every major invention, every successful company, every extraordinary accomplishment began as an idea that many people doubted. The difference was that someone decided to continue even when others could not see the outcome. Ask yourself this question: who would you be today if you had listened to every person who ever doubted you? How many opportunities would you have missed? How many skills would you have never developed? How much potential would still be hidden because you allowed someone else's opinion to stop you? The life you want requires courage. Not the courage to silence every critic, because that is impossible. The real courage is continuing forward while criticism still exists. It is choosing action instead of argument. It is choosing growth instead of frustration. It is choosing discipline instead of giving up. Your responsibility is not to convince everyone that you are capable. Your responsibility is to become capable. Continue learning, continue improving, and continue developing yourself every day. Time has a powerful way of revealing the truth. The people who doubt you today may understand your journey tomorrow, but your purpose should never depend on receiving their approval. When someone doubts you, do not waste your energy trying to change their mind. Take that energy and invest it into yourself. Read another chapter. Practice another skill. Improve another habit. Take another step toward your goal. Let your progress answer the questions that words cannot. Remember that strong trees do not grow without resistance. They become stronger because they survive difficult conditions. The brightest stars are visible because they shine through darkness. In the same way, strong character is often developed through challenges, pressure, and opposition. Do not fear doubters. Expect them. Do not hate criticism. Learn from it. Every meaningful journey requires belief in your vision, commitment to your effort, and patience with the process. There will be moments when people question you, but those moments can become reminders to continue building yourself. One day, the people who questioned your ability may look at your life and wonder how you achieved what you achieved. The answer will not be because you were lucky. It will not be because everything happened perfectly. The answer will be simple: you continued when others stopped. You remained disciplined when others became distracted. You stayed committed when things became difficult. Every successful person must first learn how to move through doubt without becoming doubtful themselves. When people underestimate you, do not become discouraged. Become prepared, work harder, grow wiser, remain humble, and stay focused on becoming the person you know you can become. The best way to prove people wrong is not through anger, arguments, or revenge. It is through excellence. Anyone can complain about being misunderstood. Anyone can defend themselves. But very few people are willing to commit to the daily work required to become exceptional. That commitment is where real greatness begins. That if you truly want to achieve something meaningful, you must understand that respect, success, and opportunity are earned through preparation and value. Many people spend their time trying to prove others wrong, but they forget that the most powerful response is not an argument. It is becoming someone whose results cannot be ignored. Anyone can make promises, anyone can speak about their potential, but only consistent action creates undeniable evidence. If you want respect, you must become worthy of respect. If you want opportunities, you must prepare yourself to handle them. If you want success, you must become the type of person who creates value and solves problems. Life follows a simple principle: the more value you develop within yourself, the more valuable opportunities you attract. Instead of focusing on defeating critics, focus on becoming so skilled, disciplined, and reliable that their opinions no longer control you. There is a major difference between proving people wrong and proving yourself right. Trying to prove people wrong is often driven by pride and the desire to receive recognition. But proving yourself right comes from purpose, commitment, and a desire to become better. Purpose creates long-term strength because it keeps you moving even when nobody is watching and even when there is no immediate reward. Think about a skilled craftsman creating something valuable. A true craftsman does not rush the process. They carefully focus on every detail, every measurement, and every improvement because they understand that excellence is never created by accident. It comes from patience, practice, attention, and discipline. Your life deserves the same level of commitment because every decision you make is shaping the person you are becoming. Every skill you develop increases your ability. Every book you read expands your understanding. Every hour you spend practicing improves your performance. Every mistake you correct moves you closer to mastery. Exceptional people are not created overnight. They are built slowly through years of learning, adapting, and improving. Now imagine if instead of spending 1 hour worrying about criticism, you spent that same hour improving yourself. Imagine using that time to learn a new skill, strengthen your mindset, or work toward your goals. One focused hour every day for an entire year can completely transform your knowledge, confidence, and abilities. Small improvements may seem insignificant today, but their impact becomes powerful when they are repeated consistently. The world does not reward excuses, intentions, or unused potential. It rewards people who create value, solve problems, continue learning, and refuse to settle for average. This is why you should not chase attention. Attention disappears quickly, but mastery remains. When you focus on becoming excellent at what you do, recognition becomes a natural result instead of something you constantly chase. Average people often stop when they become comfortable with their ability. Successful people continue practicing until they reach a level where excellence becomes their standard. They understand that improvement is not something they do occasionally, it is a lifestyle. Discipline means choosing the actions that build your future instead of always choosing what feels easy today. Every single day gives you a choice. You can repeat the same patterns from yesterday, or you can improve yourself today. One extra page, one better decision, one stronger habit, one additional hour of effort may not seem life-changing at first. But these small actions accumulate over time, and eventually they create results that look impossible to those who never understood the power of consistency. Think about a musician performing on stage. The audience sees only the final performance, but they do not see the thousands of hours spent practicing alone. They do not see the mistakes, the repetition, the early mornings, and the late nights. They only see the result. Success works the same way. People notice achievements, but they rarely see the preparation that created them. So do not become discouraged if people do not recognize your effort today. Continue preparing. Continue practicing. Continue growing. The work you do in silence is creating the foundation for the opportunities you will receive in the future. Preparation always creates confidence because you know you have invested the time required to become ready. Never forget that you do not become remarkable by constantly talking about your goals. You become remarkable by honoring your commitments every day. Even when the process feels difficult, even when progress feels slow, and even when nobody celebrates your effort, continue showing up. This is where champions are created. The greatest response to criticism is competence. The strongest answer to doubt is excellence. The most powerful way to prove people wrong is to become so disciplined, skilled, and consistent that your results speak without requiring an explanation. One day people may notice your success, but not because you demanded their attention. They will notice because true excellence is impossible to hide forever. Stay humble throughout the journey. Stay willing to learn. Stay hungry for improvement. Never believe that you have reached the final version of yourself because growth never truly ends. Every day gives you another opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more capable than you were before. There comes a moment in everyone's life when they must decide where their energy will go. Will you spend your time trying to convince people who doubt you, or will you invest that same energy into becoming someone whose results cannot be questioned? One path is filled with arguments, explanations, and the endless need for approval. The other path is built on action, discipline, patience, and the quiet commitment to create a better future. The strongest statement you can make is not something you say. It is something you become. Words can be ignored, promises can be forgotten, and opinions can change from one day to another. But results have their own language. They communicate without needing permission, and they reveal the truth through evidence that cannot easily be denied. The strongest people are rarely the ones who speak the most. They are the ones who work the most. While others are explaining their plans, they are building them. While others are complaining about difficulties, they are learning from them. While others are searching for attention, they are developing their character and improving their abilities. Eventually, the world notices them, not because they demanded recognition, but because consistent excellence always becomes visible. Think about a sunrise. It does not announce itself or ask people to look at it. It simply appears, and the entire world recognizes its presence. Your success should be built the same way. Quietly, steadily, and naturally. It should not come from forcing people to notice you, but from creating something valuable through dedication and commitment. Many people waste years trying to win arguments. They want the final word. They want others to admit they were wrong. They want to hear someone say, "You were right." But imagine reaching a point where you no longer need that approval. Imagine building a life so meaningful that your actions become the only explanation necessary. That is true freedom. Think about how much time people spend trying to change someone's opinion. They spend hours defending themselves, proving their intentions, and explaining their choices. Now imagine if that same time was invested into personal growth. Imagine using those hours to read, practice, learn, improve, and develop yourself. The person you could become through that investment would be completely different. Every moment spent trying to prove yourself with words is a moment taken away from proving yourself through action. Action always wins in the long run because consistency has a powerful ability to transform small efforts into extraordinary achievements. One disciplined day may not change everything. One workout, one lesson, or one early morning may seem insignificant. But hundreds and thousands of those moments create a completely different life. People often see the final success but never see the sacrifice behind it. They see confidence but never see the doubts that were overcome. They see achievement but never see the difficult days when quitting seemed easier. They see the results but never see the discipline required when nobody was watching. That is why success is not an accident. It is the outcome of commitment repeated over time. Do not become distracted by people who misunderstand your journey. Not everyone will understand your vision, and that is acceptable. It was never their responsibility to believe in your dream. It was your responsibility to protect it, develop it, and work toward it. Protect your focus, protect your discipline, and protect your peace because the future you are building requires your attention. Imagine a mountain climber standing at the bottom of a mountain. They do not stop every few minutes to argue with people who say the climb is too difficult. They simply continue moving upward, one step at a time. As they climb higher, the voices below become quieter. Life works the same way. As your character, skills, and confidence grow, the opinions that once distracted you lose their power. The goal is not to make your critics feel defeated. The goal is to become so focused on your own growth that their criticism no longer controls your emotions. That is maturity. That is strength. That is the ability to live according to your own purpose instead of being controlled by outside opinions. One day, someone who doubted you may look at your life and wonder what changed. The answer will not be a single moment or a sudden opportunity. The answer will be that you kept learning, kept working, kept improving, and kept showing up even when the results were not immediate. You stayed disciplined when others became distracted. You remained patient when others searched for shortcuts. Little by little, your life began to speak. Not through arguments, not through explanations, and not through trying to convince everyone. It spoke through your consistency, your character, and your achievements. Results never need to raise their voice. They simply exist, and eventually people recognize them. So stop wasting your days trying to prove people wrong. Spend your time proving yourself right. Become stronger, wiser, more disciplined, and more capable. Let your habits speak. Let your character speak. Let your dedication speak. Above all, allow your success to become the clearest statement you ever make. You do not need to prove your worth through endless explanations. You do not need to win every argument. You do not need everyone to believe in you before you begin. Your responsibility is to become the best version of yourself. Every day, you are writing your story through your decisions, your habits, and your actions. There will always be doubters. There will always be critics. There will always be people who underestimate what you can achieve. Let them. Their opinions do not define your future. Your actions do. Success is not created by fighting with the world. It is created by improving yourself quietly, patiently, and consistently. When nobody is watching, continue working. When nobody is applauding, continue improving. When nobody believes in your dream, continue believing in it yourself. Every small step is moving you closer to the person you are capable of becoming. The greatest revenge is not making someone regret doubting you. The greatest victory is becoming someone who no longer needs anyone's approval. That is real freedom. That is real success. So keep moving forward, trust the process, honor your commitments, and allow your actions, your discipline, and your results to answer every doubt. In the end, the greatest response you can give is not a sentence. It is the life you build. A life created through discipline, character, patience, and purpose. A life that proves everything without needing to say a single word.